What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. The biggest Marvel story after the events of Avengers Endgame was of course Spider-Man going back to Sony for a time, as both Disney and Sony could not reach an agreement over the Spider-Man character concerning the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In the end though, thankfully, Tom Holland was the bridge between the two companies and Bob Iger decided to go back to Sony and negotiate a deal to keep Spider-Man in the MCU, after pleas from both the fans as well as Tom Holland himself, who is Spider-Man. Today, Disney actually released an official statement about Spider-Man coming back to the MCU about a month after he of course returned, stating that it was because of the fans that Spider-Man is allowed back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but Sony actually contradicting this with a report of their own. This was their official statement. The fan base, which is important to all of us, seemed to really respond to what Tom and his folks have done before with our people. They liked the fact that the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Kevin Feige were involved in two Spider-Man films. We heard the feedback out there that suggested that joining forces once again was probably a really good idea. This is absolutely correct, and Bob Iger even had comments of his own after Spider-Man ventured back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe that made him say basically that the fans were right, and that the two companies were simply getting lost in their own dollars and big picture ideas, rather than giving the fans exactly what they wanted, which in the end I think will result in the most revenue as possible for both of the companies. As far as Sony, this is what they had to say about the matter. Yes, we have, but I agree with my distinguished colleagues that this was a classic win-win. A win for Sony, a win for Disney, and a win for the fans. The only thing I would say is that the news cycles and the rhythm of negotiations do not necessarily overlap. And this is, in the words of Shakespeare, a consummation devoutly to be wished. We have gotten there, and the news got ahead of some things though. Basically, Disney is praising the fans that Spider-Man has ventured back to the MCU, saying it was because of them, but on the other hand, Sony is saying that they believe Disney and Sony were always going to make a deal with one another, and that it was basically Sony's plan all along to go back to Marvel eventually, whether or not they would make Spider-Man movies of their own first. But what are your guys' thoughts on this? And now this sort of look behind the curtain on the mindset of both companies, with Disney saying that basically they saw the fan outcry and that is what ventured them back to Sony to ask for a new Spider-Man deal, with Sony on the other hand saying that a lot of the news outlets got ahead of themselves and that it was always the plan for them to go back to Marvel and to keep Spider-Man in the MCU. As always my friends, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think went on exactly behind the scenes between these two massive studios, and was it the fans that actually brought Spider-Man back to the MCU, or is Sony correct and that was always the plan? Thank you guys so much for the support on the channel recently. Hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and have a great day.